Well, hey, welcome to Life Points. We are in week 4 of our series, Alive, where we're talking about spiritual formation and how to become a mature Christian. These happen to be our 5 core values, and we believe that every mature believer should work on these 5 things to become more like Jesus. Today, we specifically looked at the topic of reaching. Jesus said in Luke chapter 19, verse 10, that he came to seek and to save the lost. God's heart is for people. Specifically, God's heart is for those who are far away from him. We believe at Vive that every believer needs to be involved in reaching out to people. We looked at 3 stories today of where Jesus did exactly that. He reached out to people. Jesus didn't come with an attitude of condemnation. He came with an attitude that he wanted to bring life. We looked at the Samaritan woman. This was someone who didn't even know that there was hope. She didn't know that she could have a relationship and a right standing with God, but Jesus went to her. He didn't wait for her to come to him because she didn't know. He went to her. He spent time with her. Even though the society and the social norms said he shouldn't, he went to her. And her life was changed. Zacchaeus, who was also living deep in sin and was a thief and somebody who society really despised, Zacchaeus was curious. He knew that Jesus had what he needed, but he didn't know what it was yet. He climbed up on the tree in order just to get a glimpse of Jesus. And rather than keep on going, Jesus stopped what he was doing, and he spent time with Zacchaeus. He ate with him, and the result was a changed man. He went from being a thief to somebody overflowing with generosity. An encounter with Jesus changes people. And even we looked at the story of Nicodemus, where somebody who appeared to have it all together, who appeared to know it all, somebody who appeared that they were close to God, wasn't. But Jesus took time with Nicodemus to help him process and to understand truth, and it transformed his life. God's put people into all of our lives that we are strategically positioned to reach. Many of us have different life experiences that can identify with somebody. Sometimes it's a matter of just physical location, having a neighbor. That's why we can reach them, because we live next to them. But God, regardless of what the situation is, the circumstances of the experience, there's people that God's placed in our life to use us to reach them. Now, it's important that we develop that heart for people. When we step out and reach people, it aligns our hearts with God. It places value on people, and it places value on lost people. We want to do everything we can to provide an opportunity for people to be able to have an experience with Jesus. So in your groups tonight, I want you to look at a few things. Look back at the story of the Samaritan woman. Look back at the story of Zacchaeus and the story of Nicodemus. How are these people different? How did Jesus take approaches to reach them? What can we learn from the way Jesus approached them to reach them? Secondly, I want you guys to look at 3 different areas and discuss each of these and how you can apply them into your life. In order to reach somebody, we need to have an attitude of compassion. Not condemnation, but compassion. What can you do in your life to communicate compassion to people? What can you do to show them love rather than condemnation? Look at the topic of effort. What kind of effort does it take to reach somebody? What are you doing now in your life to show an effort? And what could you be doing better to put forth your best effort to reach somebody for Jesus? And lastly, we looked at persistence. It takes time to reach somebody. Sometimes it takes days. Sometimes it takes years to reach somebody for Jesus. We have to be persistent. We can't stop. We can't give up on anybody. What can you do to be more persistent? What can you do to keep moving forward and not be discouraged as you're trying to reach somebody? So as you discuss these things in your life point, we ask that when you're done doing that, go around and share with the group about somebody who God has placed in your life. And take time tonight and pray for them. Thanks, guys. We hope you have a great life point, and we'll see you next week.